Hey, now. It's been a while, huh? Been a couple of weeks since we've seen each other. Yes, I've missed you all. It's been good. I was on vacation, so we were hanging out. Went down to Guatemala, spent a little time on vacation. Glad to be back. Glad to see y'all. I was of course, in the chats, in my social media, in my Telegram group with the membership. We were doing all the things during the week, even though I was on vacation. I wasn't coming live on YouTube, but definitely was hanging out and making that money last week. Even though we were on vacation, we still pulled in those profits. Yes, Ward, I miss y'all too. Well, I saw the folks in my Telegram in the membership. They probably didn't even feel like I went nowhere because I probably was in the Telegram more. I probably was in the Telegram more last week than I was in previous weeks when I'm working. Definitely. Hey, Sabrina, how you doing? Definitely was hanging out and enjoying some. I guess I could call it rest and relaxation. It just got away from the normal routine. When you go on vacation, you still super busy and doing all the things, going all the places. You know how it goes when you on vacation. You still trying to make all the time count. So you busy every day, right? Every day. So yeah, that's definitely what we did. Definitely what we did. We did have a day of downtime. Not sure if you all were following any of the news in Guatemala, but they did have a little bit of an uprising, if you want to call it that, partway through the week. They had the people weren't as happy about something that the president had decided, and they decided to protest. So we had to go through that. Actually, I didn't have to go through it as much. Where we were staying was kind of off the beaten path. So we were able to stay basically where we were, and where we wasn't affected too much on site. Just couldn't really go anywhere for about a day. So we just kind of chilled out and hung around the compound where we were. It was good. It was a good time of just chilling out. So no real issues. It was good. That the Lord know. Listen, me and my angels stay on their job. That's all I can say. It don't matter where I go, what I'm doing. My angels, they always got me covered, no matter where I go. Turns out though, I was when I was originally planning the trip, I I was thinking about flying back home on Wednesday. So I was looked at flying Wednesday or deciding to fly on Friday. So I didn't fly. I decided not to fly to bring us back on Wednesday, but to bring us back on Friday. It turns out it's a good thing we didn't come back on Wednesday, because Wednesday is the day that all of the traffic in the whole country, basically the entire country, because the protests were happening, there was no traffic moving. There would have been no way we could have gotten to the airport on Wednesday. There's no way we would have made it. So it worked out good. We didn't fly till Friday, even though I had flight insurance. I paid. This is the only time I've ever paid for flight insurance. We have flight insurance, so I would have, been able to reschedule. I'm thinking, but I didn't even have to worry about it because we weren't scheduled to fly till Friday. We were able to go to the airport Friday morning. No problem, no problems. Yep, no problem. So looks like I see some birthdays in the group. Julie, hey Julie. Lisa said happy Sunday. I say happy birthday, Lisa, and happy birthday, Julie. Both of y'all have birthdays today. Woo 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 woo. Lisa, I sure hope you went on vacation. I hope you went to see your son and enjoyed that time. I hope you're going to enjoy your birthday, a little bit of birthday time. I really think that'll be great. So anyway, we had a good week. We had a great week. Financially, we had a good week. The people in the membership had a good week last week. I think everybody who was really trading along. Oh yeah, yesterday, Julie, everybody who was trading along was profitable. This is always a good thing. Profitable is a good thing. And I told the folks who are in the membership, if you weren't trading along or you weren't profitable, you got to reach out and make sure that we get you situated and we get you straight. Oh, good, Lisa. That's good to hear. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Janae. Y'all, welcome. Good to see y'all again, even though I can't see y'all. It's good to be seen. Let's go with that. It's good to be seen. I can't necessarily see y'all, but just knowing that you're there Just knowing that you're out there is good. Lisa said Tuesday was hers. Okay, cool, cool. I hope you're enjoying it. I did see a post on Facebook about your birthday. So, hey Val, how you doing? Alrighty, so let's look at some stuff while we get moving because I got training at 6 o'clock. We got training at 6, so we need to cover some ground. Oh, I didn't mean to remove that. Let's add it back to the stage. We got to cover some territory, cover a little bit of territory in our time together. We got to cover some territory. Oh, not wrong screen. Okay, so the VIX is at 19.28. It has been hovering up here in the 19s and 20s for a little while. And that's where we currently are at this point. I wanted to show, let me go find my screen. I got to get back into the rhythm, right? This is SPX from last week. Let me see if I get it put on the weekly. This is what SPX did on the weekly. We did finally have a green week. You see that for the last 4 weeks have been red. And finally, we had a green week this week. That's, of course, a good thing. Let me put a little gap here because a gap was left here, and SPX is going to need to go on back up there and finish filling it. It kind of filled it a little bit this week, but it's going to need to go on back up there and finish that gap. This is the weekly chart. So these are, this is a weekly candle. This is last week's data. Kind of, I won't really call that a doji. It's really, that's not a doji. It opened at 56.31 and it closed at 56.69. So it's kind of doji. That's about 30 points. It's not really a big difference between those two. Hey, Will, not really a big difference between the open and the close for the week. So that may be doji. Which way we going? This may be that we've come down. Now we're going to maybe build our base so that way we can go on the other way. Hopefully the base is not being built so that way it can drop some more, because I don't think people would really want it to do any more dropping. But this is the 50-period moving average that has now provided some support on the weekly. That's what we got there. If we look at the daily chart for SPX, this is what we're looking at on the daily chart. We do see that we got a little support down here at 55.21 that has been established. Got a little resistance here. This moving average, I want to say this is the 200 moving average, has provided some resistance, which it always will. It's bumping right up into that 200-day moving average. The 200-period moving average, no matter what time frame you're on, is always going to provide significant resistance because it's 200 periods. That's 200 periods of whatever time frame. So that's definitely providing. See how the boom, boom, boom. It's not been able to push past there. Not saying it won't, just saying it hasn't so far. All right. So that's SPX. SPY is going to look very similar. And it does, right? Since they are definitely based on the same thing. Going to look very similar. That's SPY on the daily chart. Let's go look at Triple Q, what it did last week. This is Triple Q. Nope. I need you to, there we go. Give me the movement. All right. This looks very similar to the SPY and the SPX chart as well. Still had a green week, looks like. It didn't bump up into this 200 period as much as the others. Hey, Mama Net. But we do have some support at 468. Another piece of support here at the 474. If we're looking here on the daily chart. So what we've got there, and there's a bit of a gap here. It's not too big, but we can mark it either way. Got a little bit of a gap here between Friday the 7th and Monday the 7, 8, 9, 10, right? There's a little bit of a gap there that's going to need to be filled as well. Let's look at IWM. IWM, we traded that last week. We traded it as a call credit spread, and IWM did not want to give up the ghost. I think we had 206. Some of us might have had 208, but my trade, I think I had 206 to 211 or something like that. But IWM wanted to hang out. It finally gave it up Friday and fell down to 203, but it took all week. It held on. This was all the days, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. It held on with its did its doggone it best to stay on up there. It hovered and finally fell off on Friday, but it fell right down into some support. So we'll have to see how it goes this week. But according to the moving averages, IWM is still showing that it's in a bearish trend, still showing bearish. This blue one is the 50-period moving average, and that's the one that we use to determine trend. It's still showing a little on the bearish side. So we still trading. Actually, my Peakbot entered my regular. I used the trend spread bot on Peakbot. Peakbot, yeah, it was just hanging out. I know. Peakbot, let me put it here. I use Peakbot to trade IWM for me, the trend spread bot. It trades it automatically for me every week. I don't have to do anything. I leave it. I don't even tell it to change the stop, which if you're using automated trading, you can have it to do. Okay, I was looking to see it didn't like that on Facebook. Facebook be tripping about these links. Let me see, peakbot.com/E2T. Let's see if it'll take it this time. But I select IWM and I rinse and repeat it every week. So every Friday, it's going to enter that trade about a 4 or 5 spread, depending on the deltas. It's what it's based on. And it automated, does hands free for me. It'll open and close that trade every week. I usually set my close order, but I don't really have to even do that because the Peakbot will actually close it for me every week. And about a 5 spread, it takes in $100, $115, $120, something like that. So it's about a 20% return on the collateral every single week, and it just rinse and repeat. And if you're interested, I put the link in the chat so that you can let Peakbot do that same thing for you. Now, I only do one stock, but you can run it with as many stocks as you want. Let it run the weekly. You don't have to touch a thing. It can do all the work for you. All right. So that's where we are with that. That's how last week went. That's how it went last week. Okay. I want to share with you, how did our trades list go last week? Woo, woo. 88% win rate last week. Yes. Peakbot, Peakbot would love to work with Robinhood. It's Robinhood that won't release the API to Peakbot. Peakbot would love to work with Robinhood, but Robinhood doesn't release their API data to anybody. So at this point, nobody's working with them. But yeah, 14 out of 16 profitable trades last week on our trades list. Clap it up, clap it up. Yes. Clap it up, clap it up. Yes. Listen, we traded AbbVie last week successfully. Took a while for it to draw down, but we'll take it. Profits. Woo, woo. Cisco, Costco. I don't know. Did Mr. Mac, if you want to hear Mr. Mac, did you trade Costco last week? I forgot to swing back around and look at it. I know some people traded Chevron. I had some people in my community trade gold. Procter & Gamble, not sure if anybody traded that. IWM, we traded. Microsoft, we traded. Procter & Gamble, like I said, Triple Q, SPY. We didn't trade those, but we traded SPX so much, we might as well be trading Triple Q and SPY. That's the same thing. I believe Lisa traded UPS. She usually trades that one. And I had one young lady in our community also trade Exxon. Now, I'm sure she traded hers profitably because if you're actively trading, you can enter and exit your trade. You don't got to wait till Friday to exit, right? We had some good profits last week. But look, 88% win rate last week, 14 out of 16 trades. Ooh, ooh. And that's if you didn't do nothing but let it run all week long, which we're active traders, so we don't necessarily do that. But even if you did, you could have picked almost anything on this list and really been profitable. Profitable. Yes, and yes. Okay. We put this list out every single week. And it's short this week because I'm very strategic with the things that I put on this list. I have a criteria that I use to select this list. I do use the Peakbot watch list. Right. So if you're one who uses Peakbot, for your automation, or you use the Peakbot alerts, then you will have access to their watch list. So I use the Peakbot watch list. I use the ones that have the low risk area. and I look at some other criteria that are on there to determine what goes on my list. And then I go ahead and do the analysis and give the strikes. So I don't just automatically grab what it says on Peakbot and use those strikes, because sometimes those strikes are a little closer than we're comfortable with. And it's also, based on Friday at the end of close, which ours is too. I mean, as far as I'm looking at over the weekend, so I'm looking at that same data, but I'm looking to see what criteria suits the credit spreads that we want to do for my community. Okay. So this is what we came up with. Put credit spreads. We got gold, which paid last week. Woo woo. Procter and Gamble, which Procter and Gamble is a great stock for inflationary economy times, because people still gonna need to buy their toothpaste, their toilet paper, all the stuff that Procter and Gamble sales. People still got to buy that no matter what the economy look like. Soap and all those things. Exxon, which last week Exxon was on the call credit spread list. This week it's on the put credit spread list. Remember, we looked over here. Exxon was on the call credit spread list last week, and it got breached. It actually ended up closing at 115.50. Right in the middle of it. It closed right in the middle. This week it switched over and it's on the put credit spread list. That means the trend was actually changing last week. We also have Cisco. Microsoft is still on the call credit spread list. Pepsi, another thing that does pretty well in inflationary times. Procter and Gamble still here. Triple Q and SPY all on the call credit spread list. All right. So again, those things are based on trend. We're using the 50-period moving average to determine our trend. But that's our list for the week. The ones I like, because I usually talk about my favorite 3 for the week. The ones I like, if I was going to trade, which we may pull a gold in, because we hadn't traded as a community, hadn't traded gold together. Might go with gold, and we're going to pull the trigger on Microsoft one more time. Chink, chink. We'll pull Microsoft one more time. And we might even pull in Procter and Gamble, because Procter and Gamble is the only one that fell in the neutral. So that means we can get a little bit on both sides. And y'all know I love me a good iron condor, right? I love me an iron. We might go with Exxon. Exxon is on the list. We might try that one. We'll see what, how we feel once Monday or Tuesday comes in, what we feel. But I really like gold has been holding up really nice. Procter and Gamble might require a little bit of an additional look. Exxon and Microsoft, those are the ones that I think I would look at, because we trade SPX so much. I don't necessarily put us in Triple Q and SPY, because we're exposed to those same stocks while we're trading SPX, and there's no reason to be exposed to the very same thing. That's not a good diversification of our money. If we do something like gold, that's different. Exxon is putting you in fuels and oils. That's a little different. Procter and Gamble, Microsoft. Well, Microsoft is tech. It's kind of going to put you in the SPX category too, but we like trade Microsoft. It's just kind of chilling. Microsoft just chilling. Yes. So I'm going to talk about the PD. Actually, I want to talk about that first. Let me hit this. Last week we looked at, while I was on vacation, by the way. While I was on vacation, your girl pulled in $1,260 in 0 DTE. Actually, it was more than this, because I had some 1 DTE stuff. All of that, over 1,200. Actually, I put in over 1,700 last week in profits on vacation. Listen, and we're still doing all the vacation stuff, drifting around, riding in the van and going back and forth around Guatemala, because you got to ride everywhere you go. Nothing's closer than close while you're there. But listen, we're going to do a training. I'm going to do a training this evening at 6:00 within the membership, for members only. We're going to talk about how we get into these numbers, how we get into the bag, as they say. We're going to get to the bag. We're looking at how do we get to the bag. 0 DTE and 1 DTE profits. We're going to talk about it. A members only training this evening at 6:00. And if you are not a member yet, and you really want to see about how to get to the bag, and you got some credit spread ideas, but you're not profitable like this, you need to come on in the room. You need to come on. Right. Sabrina says, United States Steel Company has been doing good. I bought some stock. Oh, yeah. Now watch, because I think U.S. Steel isn't that going to potentially be impacted by the tariffs? It may be potentially be impacted by this tariff. So I don't know. Of course, our trainings are always recorded and we provide that recording to our people. Everything we do is recorded so folks can always refer back to it and always go on. One of the things we do on our zero DTEs is we utilize the PDT hack. I'm not sure if y'all ever heard of the PDT hack, but the PDT hack is a way for you to be able to have trade multiple times through the day, not using your day trades. They say I'll show you how you can trade your credit spreads and not use your day trades, regain your buying power, and continue to trade multiple times throughout the day. Okay, I'm gonna teach all that this evening at 6 o'clock. So again, if you ain't if you want to be getting at the bag too, we want everybody who can to be getting to the bag together. We're trying to all make it do what it do together. My son sent me a message the other day saying, Mama, I need to find out, he watches, paid attention. He said, I need to find out how you making weekly money every day. That's my son. He said, I need to figure out what happened. What are you doing? How you making weekly money every day? I said, So you've been sleeping on your mama. Don't be sleeping on me. Will says, I need to learn this too. I'm a newbie, but I'm ready to rock and roll. Well, if you're ready to rock and roll, let's rock and let's roll. Okay, Sabrina says, because of it, the stock will increase. All right, let's go, let's go. You're right. You're probably very right. Just want you to make sure that you know that it's going to have an impact. So trade wisely, trade accordingly. I agree with that. Okay, so let's see, where were we? I need to go to earnings now. Let's move on back to my other screen so we can go on to see what the earnings got for us this week. What earnings do we have? We got to look at earnings. We got to look at our meetings. Let me see. Are we there yet? Got to put it on the screen. Add to the stage. Okay. Remove you and add you. There we go. Let me go. Let me make it bigger so we all can see. Mainly me can see what's going on over here. Not there. I need it bigger over here. Okay. So we've got, I'm going to take me off the screen so I can make it even bigger. Come on, fill it out bigger. Nope, it doesn't want to get any bigger, even though I'm not there anymore. There we go. Okay. Monday before the market opens, we've got Intuitive Machines and Lucid. Now, I really thought Lucid was going to do some stuff. This is the earnings for this coming week, right? Lucid, such a beautiful vehicle. Have you ever seen a Lucid car? If you've seen one, they're such a nice looking vehicle, but their stock price is just not where it needs to be. I'm not saying it won't come on back, but I was so excited about them when they first came out. We were trading them regular. It's been a couple years and stuff now. But War says, I'm still ticked off for the super tariffs that lost me at least a third of my portfolio. Yeah, well, we all have to trade what we see. Ooh, I ain't even gonna go and talking about that. Anyway, Lucid has earnings Monday morning before the market opens. Then after close, we've got Oklo or OKLO, KB Homes, Dragonfly looks like, Interpack Tool Group, Intellinetics, ABVX or Ababax, OncoSite, SkyX Platforms, Actelis, ASNS. That's Monday after the close. Tuesday, we've got Canadian Solar, ATAT, Rumble is here, McCormick. This is the people with the seasonings. Cormedics, Smithfield. That's the bacon. You think that's the meat people? Smithfield, Core and Maine. Haiti Lau, HDL is on Tuesday mornings. PavMed and Pony.ai. This is an AI. We can only count the ways, Tanya. You're right. Tuesday after market closes, GameStop, Surge Pays, Worthington, Beta Bionics, Colibri, Access Newswire, GCT, Noah. I'm not sure who they are. Noah Holdings, Paysign, and Corvus. Wednesday, we've got Dollar Tree, Chewy, Centis, Target Hospitality. That's not the Target store, I don't believe. That's not Target. Jinko Solar, Paychex is here, BRP. REX, Coal Plant, COLLCLGN. I'm not sure who they are. And Canaan, Wednesday after close, we've got Microvision, Concentrix, 3D Systems, USIO, Verent, Petco, Direct, DURect. So not direct, but direct. Steelcase, Miller Knoll, HB Fuller, Thursday morning, we got Bitfarms, which I believe BITF falls into the Bitcoin space. Winnebago, TD Synex, SACM or SACM, SACH is the ticker. 10 Limited, it's an energy company. It's like it's something energy. Yep, navigation. And Innate Pharma, PDSB, ADCT, Therapeutics is there. Acumen is here, and Ice Cure. On Thursday after close, we've got Lululemon, KULR, Braze, Abacus, FitLife, AAR, Oxford, HireQuest, Vertra, and Plus Therapeutics. And Friday morning before they open, we've got IPA, SBC, Catapult, Super League, Z-Space, and Liquid Tech. Turns out, looks like we're definitely winding down on this earnings season. I guess we're ending the first quarter. We had our big quad witching on Friday. It was a little, I won't call it muted as far as that went. Friday was a really kind of a, I don't really call it bullish or bearish. It was kind of like it was fine to be consolidating. I was fine with that. It was fine with me that it just kind of did its thing. And then the end of the day, I believe it started going on Friday when at the end of the day, it started making its move. But this is what we got for earnings for the week, okay? This is what we got for the week. Where was I going from here? Let me see. I went there. I think that's where I was going. Oh, no, I got to get the calendar. I knew there was someplace else I was going. I knew it. Okay, so this week we've got some dates coming up. Monday morning, first thing, 9:45 a.m. is Flash Manufacturing PMI. This is a key indicator for our economy. That's because, where's my little thing? It usually tells us like what's going on. That you can hit the little folder. It'll tell you why this is important to us, right? It is the Purchasing Managers Index is what it says down here. Purchasing Managers Index. And we care about that. It says why traders care. Why do the traders care? It's a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and their purchasing managers hold perhaps the most current and relevant insight into the company's view of the economy. So when we see our Purchasing Managers Index, they can see Flash Manufacturing PMI. They can see really quickly whether prices of goods is going up and how are the market responding to certain things. So that's going to happen on Monday morning at 9:45. That's why this has got a red folder next to it. All right. That's first thing Monday morning, which will potentially be, I remember that last 15. I know something happened the last 15 minutes. I was trying to remember something I know happened. Yep. I do know because it ran right on up real close to my strikes. It's like, where you going? All right. So that's Monday morning at 1:45 on Monday. We got FOMC member Bostic speaking and Barr speaking at 3:10. That's on Monday, right? Tuesday, we've 8:40 before the market opens. We've got FOMC member Kugler will speak. 9 o'clock, we've got HPI, that's the housing price index, will be at 9 o'clock before the market opens. 9:05, we've got FOMC member Williams speaking. 10 o'clock, we've got CB Consumer Confidence. This used to be a red folder. Now it's an orange folder. New home sales, manufacturing, Richmond Manufacturing Index. No red folders on Tuesday at this point, unless our president decides he's going to speak. On Wednesday, no red folders here. 8:30, core durable goods is there. 10 o'clock, Kashkari will speak. FOMC crude oil inventories, 10:30. FOMC member Musalem will speak at 1 o'clock. They're saying it's yellow, but I think Musalem actually moves the market a little bit more than a yellow. So we'll look at these things each day as they come. Thursday morning, though, we have 8:30 final GDP, the gross domestic product. This is a red folder on purpose. All right. The gross domestic product is an important piece of information, and it is a red folder. Unemployment claims also Thursday morning before market opens. Final GDP, goods, trades balance, preliminary wholesale inventories. 10 o'clock, pending home sales, natural gas storage, FOMC member Barkin will speak at 4:30. Friday, red folder at 8:30 in the morning. Core PCE price index. This is before the market opens. Personal income, personal spending, revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment, yada, yada. Inflation expectations. Barr will speak from FOMC and Bostic will speak at 3:45. So what we can see for the week is we've got a red folder on Monday morning. Soon as the market opens, about 9:45, right in the midst of the volatile times anyway. Tuesday, Wednesday, no red. We got some oranges. Thursday, Friday, we've got some red. Okay. I won't say nothing significant. Usually we'll have like a FOC thing that can take the whole thing to the left or to the right or whichever. But as usual, we trade what we see. We trade what we see. Curtis says that last 15 minutes on Friday on the SPX went crazy. Yes, I do remember now that is what happened. I do remember. All right. So we've looked at what happened last week in these stocks. We looked at our performances last week. We looked at what's earnings and stuff's coming up next week, what meetings are coming up next week. Yep, we looked at that. Based on how we ended, this is SPX, how we ended SPX, we're kind of sitting in a little bit of a, I won't call it a stall, but we're kind of sitting still just below this 200 period moving average. Again, as I said earlier, the 200 period moving average is going to provide resistance. That's what it does. So this could in itself lead just a little bit more downward, but we did hit some support right here and bounce off of it pretty nice. But that 200 period moving average right there, and we're below it. When you're underneath that 200 period daily moving average, y'all know about moving averages. And if you don't, just know that 200 period is going to provide some strong resistance. Okay. The 50 period moving average is coming down, crossing over the 100, crossing over that 100. They're all coming on down. Let me see which one is which. I got to remember my colors. Okay. Nope. So my 200 period moving average is black. The green is the 100 period. The blue is the 50. And the orange is my 20 period moving average. Yep. So not sure if y'all can see all the colors, but this is the 200. The green is the 100. The 50 is crossing over it, coming down. Right. And this orange one is the 20 period moving average. These are all giving us a little bit of a downwards look. Okay. We got a little crossover potentially incoming. Again, let's trade what you see. Trade what you see. Looking at triple Q. Also underneath kind of looks the same as far as the order 200 period moving average. This is the 20. This orange one. The green and the blue are crossing over, right? They're all below this 200, which shows us that we are in bearish territory, which is also why the triple Q and SPY showed up on our call credit spread list, because they are in bearish territory. Let's look at IWM. IWM kind of looking the same. 200 period moving average is this black one. 50 period moving average coming down. Now we trade these things as credit spreads. We trade them on a shorter time frame. So you can see here, there's been a little bit of a pop. So even though there's been a little bit of a pop here, and since we trade them on a shorter time frame, you do need to make sure that you're watching to see for your time horizon. What is it doing for your time horizon? Now, if you trade out for the month, then you're going to look at it from a monthly standpoint. If you're trading them for the week, for 4 or 5 days, it's kind of been actually longer than that. It's been between, this is IWM, been between 206. We probably could go up. Let's say it's been between 208 and 198. It's been in between this 10 point range for the last 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 trading days. That's 3 weeks. It's been between 198 and 208 for 3 weeks. 3 trading days, 3 trading weeks. So you do your good Do your good charting. If you're not sure about how to chart, you might want to go and check out my free charting webinar. Free. It's at startwiththechart.com. You can go there. Ward says, I'm looking back at my what should have been avoidable screw-ups in the market, and I want to pull my hair out. You know what, that happens, Ward, where we all look back at things that you can, of course, you can see it all clearly. I can see clearly now that the candles have formed. After the candles have formed, you're like, I can see it so clearly now what we should have done. Yeah, we can clearly see what we should have done once the candles have all formed. Always. All righty. So as I talked to you, we said before that I'm going to, this afternoon, probably in about 20 minutes, we're going to get on there because I'm getting ready to land this plane, as they say. We're going to do a training, SPX 0 DTE, 1 DTE, which that right there, we've been doing the 1 DTE and it's been pulling in. I think I made $365, right at $400 for our 1 DTE, which means you don't have to worry about watching that all day at all. And you enter one day, exit the next day. We did that all last week and several weeks actually. Made $365 on top of that other money I made. I'm trying to keep them separate because I was running a trial to make sure we got the strategy down. I'm going to teach on both of those this evening at 6 o'clock. Well, it's going to be 20 more minutes. Right. And if you want to join us, you can come on over. Come on in the room. And not just for this training, because we got so many other things that we do, but we learn trade profit to get together, the seller's way. We do credit spreads, cash secure puts. We do covered calls. We're a supportive community for trading and for training and for learning all the things, trade management. We do all that together. Profitable strategies, really trying to work on less screen time, which is why we use the PDT hack. Once that PDT hack is set, you don't have to worry about those trades. Those are set for the day. We have daily profits to grow our account, which is what we're going to talk about that. And we've got training and support. I'm in those groups so that I can make sure that we can do trade management. We call trades to make sure that everybody's getting some money. And then along the way, we manage them together. All right. So nobody's out there on their own trying to figure out what it is we're going to do. Nobody's trying to figure it out. All righty. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I could have talked about that SPX playbook, but that'll be another time, another session. All righty. Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, I'm looking up here to make sure I covered everything I said I was going to cover while I was on this here call. I did want to say yet again that I really missed you all. I missed my time on YouTube. I did enjoy my vacation in Guatemala, spent some time with my friends. Shout out to the Green family. Ooh, I love being with my people. Yes, I did. We already, me and my children talking about going back. My children didn't go with me this time, but we already talking about going back maybe in May. What is it now? March? Yeah, we're talking about going back maybe in May. My son wants to go. So we'll see how that plays out. All righty, everybody. Those of you who are in my community, I will see you at 6 o'clock. Those of you who are not, but you think you want to get in on this training, listen, this is not the time to be sitting idly by watching life pass you by, because it will. And my daughter says will. It will pass you by, and we need to be pulling in these bags. All right. Every little bit that we don't necessarily, I made really good money last week. Right. And if you've been following me for any length of time, I don't always make those kind of profits. Right. So I'm not even trying to fake the funk like I do this every week. We don't do this every week, but we do something consistent and steady every week, which that's really what we're after is, can we consistently pull in something every day and every week? Because those little gains, I won't even call them little, those gains, if you can consistently repeat them day after day, they add up. We want to get to where we're putting in the reps so that way we can count on the rinse and repeat, whether it's $25 or $35 a day. If you make $35 a day, we're talking about what? $150 a week? Let me make sure my good math is working. $140, $185 a week. 35 times 5, $175 a week. Who couldn't use 175, an extra 175 a week? 175 a week times another times 4 weeks, right? That's another 7. That's a car payment and the insurance and some groceries. If you made $35 a day, oh my goodness, $35 a day, which seems like it's like nothing, but if you made $35 a day, 175 a week, that's an extra $700 a month. An extra $700 a month is a car payment. And you could make $35 a day using $500 of collateral with no sweat. Okay, and I literally, when I say no sweat, that could happen with no real worries. Okay, and I can show you how to do that. I can show you how to do that, but you need to come on into the membership to do it, because there's been times where I've taught stuff, and if it don't cost you something, it's gonna cost me something. So, and we both got to put something on the wood. All right. I want to make sure that I'm helping all people who want to be helped, but you need to honor my time and my value and my knowledge too. We got to share in this. All right. Don't take advantage of me. And I promise I won't take advantage of you, because I do know people who charging hundreds of dollars for less. Okay. And I don't really focus on the other people because I'm really trying to stay in my lane. But because I'm in this space though, I'm in this here space, I see what's being offered and what's being charged for that same stuff. And I know what has the value and I know what doesn't. All right. Thousands, tell them, Sabrina, thousands, and giving less. Giving less. And nobody's sitting in a Telegram answering all the questions like I do. People aren't calling trades and making sure that they can help you along the way. They're not answering, making sure that I can get on the call to make sure that you can push the right buttons. There are a lot of people who are not doing that. They pull your thousands of dollars and then tell you figure it out. And that's not, first of all, that ain't me. So, again, I'm going to help those. I'm going to do like what's her name? Harriet Tubman. I would have freed more people if they just knew they were slaves. We're gonna help as many people as we can across the finish line, but you got to know you need help to get across the line. We're here to help. We're here to help, because I know when I needed help, I had somebody who reached out and helped me. All right, I know you do, Janae. Because I do see that the camera is spinning, even though it's still showing green. Where did we go? Okay, I'm going to stop that screen, see if it does what it's supposed to do. All right, I'm back. It looks like I'm back anyway. All righty. In the morning, I'll definitely see you back here on YouTube. Those who are hanging out with us for the training, I'll see y'all in about 15 minutes. Otherwise, I'll see you in the morning. And Monday. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.